Well, once again, I'm back to share another story with you. And what I'm tapping out on the bell is my story chant. And believe it or not, this little chant has been with me ever since I started telling stories back in '85. And I would like for you to do it with me. When I tell stories with a crowd in front of me, it's my way of opening the doors to our imagination so the story can just flow right in. So I'll do it without the bell, and then you just repeat after me, okay? Stories come and stories go. Listen to the words and help them grow. It matters not what they mean to me, only what your heart can see. 'Cause stories come and stories flow. Listen to the words and away we go. Today, I want to share a story with you. I remember the very first time I heard this story. I was at an event at Callan Wall, and a lady from Macon told this story called The Freedom Bird. And it just grabbed me very first time. And I eventually purchased a book that had the story in it, and I learned that story. And it's been a part of my repertoire since, I'd say, the late '80s. And so I'm going to do it today in a different way. I've never done it without hearing the audience talk back to me in the story. But Spirit just wants me to share this story with you today. It's called The Freedom Bird. And usually when they're with a group of children or adults, I'll say, can anybody tell me the meaning of the word freedom? So I'm going to give you a count of 5 to think about what freedom means to you. The story is called The Freedom Bird. And the story says that one day, a hunter got his bow and his arrows, and he went into the woods hunting. He was going through the woods, and he heard a sound that went like this. Na, 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 na. He followed that sound around, and he came upon a tree. And up in that tree, he saw one of the most beautiful birds you can imagine. The bird had red, yellow, green, orange, brown, purple, gold feathers. It was a freedom bird. The hunter looked at that bird and he said, "Why do they call you the freedom bird?" And the freedom bird said, "Na, na, 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 na." The hunter looked back at the bird and said, "How can a bird as beautiful as you make such an ugly sound?" And the freedom bird said, "Na, na, 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 na." Well, this made the hunter mad. He reached into his pouch. He got an arrow and zing! The bird hopped out of the way and said, "Na, na, 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 na." Well, the hunter got another arrow. He kissed it twice for double good luck. He aimed up at the bird and sing! And this time, when the bird hopped out of the way, his head hit a limb. And the limb knocked the bird out. Well, the bird, he began falling out of the tree, and the hunter got his pouch. He got around up underneath the bird, and he caught the bird, and he wrapped it up, slung it over his shoulder, and he headed back towards home. But before he got back to his house, he heard a sound coming from the pouch that went like, "Na, na, 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 na." He ran into the house. He went into the kitchen and he got him a pot. He put some water in it. He set that pot up over the fire. Then he opened up that sack. He took the bird out and he pulled out every last one of those red, yellow, green, orange, brown, purple, gold feathers. and he laid the bird, plop, right up on the counter. And he turned away from the bird. But when he turned away, he heard that sound and went like, na, 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 na. Now, I think everybody listening know what he's going to do with that bird. How many people say he was going to bake him? How many people say he was going to broil him? Well, when you bake him, broil, or put him in a pot, that's what he was going to do. But before he put the bird in the pot, of just one chunk of bird, he cut that bird up into 100 little bitty pieces. He put the pieces over into the pot. He slammed the lid down onto it, and he stood back and laughed. But while he stood there laughing, he heard a sound coming from the pot that went like, na, 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 na. He screamed and he went outside. He got a shovel and he dug a hole. He took the pot off the stove, went outside, opened it up, and emptied all 100 pieces of the bird right into that hole. He kicked the dirt into it, smoothed it over, packed it down, went up onto the porch and said, I got you now. But when he said that, he heard the sound and went like, na, 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 na. Well, he screamed and we got him a box with the lid on it. He drug that lid over to where he buried the bird. He dug the bird up, put all 100 pieces into the box, got him a hammer and some nails and nailed that lid down into the box. Then he dragged it out to the river. He got him a long rope and a great big old rock. Then he took the box and put it up on the rope. Got the big old rock and put it on the box. He took the rope, tied it and wrapped it around the rock in the box, and he shoved the whole thing. Splash! When the water splashed and splattered and swirled and twirled. Well, and after a while, the box come back up to the top. A few days later, there were some older children out by the river. Now, how old do you think the children were? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, it was a mixture of ages. They was out there playing by the river, and they saw the box. And they got that box and they rolled it over. Then a couple of them jumped up on it and started just jumping up and down on the box. And that's when they heard something. They leaned down real close to the box, and the sound in the box went like, na, 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 na. Well, they got something, they pried that box open. And when they opened the box up, what do you think came out of it? How many people say a bird? How many people say 2 birds? How many people say nothing came out? Well, let me tell you what did come out of the box. 100 brand new freedom birds. The birds all flew out of that box and they flew back into the woods. A couple of months went by and our friend the hunter was out in the woods again. He was going through the woods when he heard something sound kind of familiar. He followed around and he came up on that tree. And the same tree, we had seen only 1 bird. How many do you think was in the tree now? 5, 10, 20, 50, 75, 100 brand new freedom birds. The hunter just smiled. He looked at all the birds and he said, now I know why they call you the freedom bird. He looked at all the birds and said, you can't kill freedom. And the harder we try to get rid of you, the more you see. And the bird looked at the hunter and said for the very last time, na 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 na. Thank you for listening to Freedom Bird. Help me close the door, will you? Stories come and stories go. Listen to the words and help them grow. It matters not what they mean to me, only what your hearts can see. 'Cause stories come and stories flow. Listen to the words and away we go. Thank you. Spread freedom wherever you go.